Right now, I want to introduce our very special guest to you. He's a man known worldwide for his bold and brash business style. He's a guy who has engineered one of the biggest turnarounds in modern business history. He's a lucky enough fellow to be married to one of the best-looking women, one of the nicest women in the country. It's the man, it's the myth, it's the Donald. Donald Trump joined us, ladies and gentlemen. Wow.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bud.
Thank you.
Have a seat. Bye. Nice you could make it.
Well, it's great to be here. I see you have some real talent of it.
Real
this is
talent?
a great lawyer.
He's all right. You think that Johnny Cochran has met his match?
Well, I think he's probably come close to meeting his match. I would say that. I know Raul very well. I was very lucky.
Trace from seizing.
That's true. That's true. I was very lucky. He did not represent Ivana, and I did okay.
You know, we were talking on the telephone a couple of days ago, and you revealed to me something astonishing. I want to get to Marla and the kids and this phenomenal business turnaround. But you revealed something about your friendship over the years with OJ Simpson and how he related to you, his relationship to Nicole. Now, every time he came to see you or you were socializing together, as I understand it, OJ would be with a different woman.
Well, he'd always be with a different woman, and a very beautiful woman, but he would talk about Nicole, and he definitely loved Nicole. There's no question about it in my mind. And you and I being friends, I mean, I did relate to you the one story about OJ's constantly just discussing Nicole, how he loved Nicole, no matter who he was with. So
even if he was with a woman as lovely and as stunning as Paula Barbieri, he would pull you aside and say what?
Well, he just said, hey, I'm getting back with Nicole, and I intend to be back with Nicole, and she's great, I love her, and that's who I'm going back with. And this has been, I mean, I'm not the only one this was said to. This was said to many of his friends. I've known OJ, I'm just devastated over what's happened. He's been a friend for a long time, a great guy.
Was he at your wedding?
Totally great guy. He was at my wedding, and...
who did he bring to the wedding?
That's a tough question. Why can't they ask a nice, simple business question?
I'll get to that.
It's irrelevant.
It was not Nicole.
It was not Nicole. Nicole, I think, was in California at the time. But
and yet, on his way,
Donald, in fact, I was going to say, doesn't that indicate obsession rather than love? If he's with another girl and all he talks about years after a divorce, it sounds to me that a man is obsessed, not in love.
Well, he was definitely in love with Nicole. I don't know. It's not my business. Your business is probably, you're the best.
Not obsession either.
But yeah, sometimes, although to a certain extent it might be. But he certainly loved Nicole. There's no question about that in my mind.
Let me introduce the ladies who are sitting between Raul and Donald. Andrea Pizer, recently back from Los Angeles, where she has been covering the Simpson trial for the New York Post. She has a new book out, incidentally, on the tragic Susan Smith story, the South Carolina mother who allegedly drowned her youngsters. And Jamie Brown, the fine columnist and publisher of Sister to Sister, based in Washington, D.C. So, ladies have a question for Donald?
No, I wanted to say this. I was in a, not with my husband, but an abusive relationship at one time, and they do love you, and they're very sorry after they crack your head, and there's a lot of love and tenderness, but there's a lot of abuse. They can go off over anything. And one thing that I was very upset during the OJ trial when they tried to make light of the call that the police got, and they said it was a wrestling match that OJ had with Nicole, and they said, well, did she have any marks on her body? Listen, this guy is pounding you in your head. He's standing over you. He's bigger than life. You're scared to death to even touch him. The fact that he does not have marks on his body means nothing. Anyone frightened like that, I've been in that situation, and a lot of women, we were sitting around discussing that who had been abused, and we said, how the heck can they talk about this like this? It's a wrestling match.
That's how men talk about it. Not how
I know,
women
I
talk
understand
about it.
that.
Right. I want to ask Donald how he keeps his relationship going when so much of your private life is lived out in front of tens of millions of people.
Well, I think you just can't necessarily believe everything that you read. It's incredible, the false rumor, false innuendo. But you have it to a large extent also, Geraldo. I mean, you do it, you live your life, you have a good person with you. I've had, some really incredible relationships over the course of my life. I have to tell you that Marla's a very outstanding woman. She's taken a tremendous amount of abuse wrongfully. She was attacked viciously from a mental standpoint from this character, Chuck Jones.
Chuck Jones, we had him on our panel. What? Who's on the telephone? Hello?
Hello.
It's Marla on the phone. Marla Maples Trump. Hi, hon. How you doing? Marla, where are you?
Oh, I'm far away from New York City, and I thought from the press too, Geraldo, but you got me.
So, yeah, what do you think of this guy, really? Is he really the sexiest man that you've ever known?
I think and that I've probably ever heard of, too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How's your child? I don't even know the specifics. How old is your baby?
Our child?
Yeah.
Our little child is having a beautiful little nap, getting ready to watch the sun go down and trying to get a little bit of normalcy in a crazy world.
It is a crazy world. Let me get back to Donald and Marla. Let me show you some video of Donald and his wife and their baby. Don't we have that video? Let's roll it. Here, everybody see that this public guy, here he is. Imagine every move, every sigh.
Marla, right here.
Photograph. Marla, right here.
Too much excitement here. Can we get to the baby's face? Get to the lift. Marla.
The last thing we heard about your business, Mr. Trump, was that you were over leveraged, that people were closing down their debts on you, that they were taking away control of your various casinos and your far-flung empire, your real estate developments had stalled. As you sit there today, give me a one-word answer, and then you can develop it in more detail when we come back in a minute. How are things going business-wise?
Well, it's probably been the best year of my life from a business standpoint, but I had to go back to work. One word, I don't know, can we say luck? Maybe luck.
Luck is a good word. Did the media affect your relationship with Donald?
Oh, without a doubt.
Hey, for the record, we like Donald around here.
Yes.
We do. I mean, he's a very controversial guy, but I think that he's an honest businessman. And
It's
just
very
because he's
difficult.
flamboyant, I mean, since when do we hold that against people?
Well, I think the media has been very good for him in business ways, but in a personal way, it's been very,
Hurt
very
a lot.
tough, and it's really caused a lot of
Do you
pain.
think your private life will ever be private?
You know, I think now I'm in a field that it'd be very difficult to ever have the privacy that you long for in your
And you wanna do a
personal life, but I would
sitcom
love to
next?
fight for that.
Marla, during her appearance on our studio stage some months ago? Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Trump, I'd like to know who was your mentor?
Well, I just happen to adore a certain guy known as my father. I have a great father and a great mother, and I think those two people really had a lot to do with the way I came out, for better or worse.
Now, your career was obviously jump-started, in a sense, by your dad, but you took it well beyond that. Percentage-wise, how much bigger is it now than when you were 21, say?
Well, I mean, percentage-wise, when I was 21, I was working for my father in Brooklyn. He built housing in Brooklyn and Queens predominantly and did a beautiful job, middle-income housing, low-income housing. And I always wanted to build apartments for Johnny Carson, Sophia Loren, and Steven Spielberg. You know, I mean, this was like my thing. And so we've really come a long way. Then we went through the real estate crunch in 1990, 91, and survived it. Now, I guess we're probably stronger than we were in the 80s, and I'm really happy. We just purchased the Empire State Building. We just did a couple
Cool.
of other little things. So
You're not going to turn the
it's
lights
been
off,
good.
are you?
No, well, maybe just a little bit.
Didn't you open up another casino in Atlanta?
I have, yes, I have.
So how
another
many
casino.
casinos do you have now?
Well, I have 3 casinos in Atlantic City, and we were just designated in Gary, Indiana, which is about 15 minutes away from Chicago, for the other. Out of 18 companies, they chose me as number 1. So I'm very happy about that.
Mike Walker, you have a question for Donald?
Yeah, as somebody who lives in one of the world's dullest communities, the Palm Beach area, I'm wondering how Mar-a-Lago, your private club, is going. We're looking forward to some excitement there.
Well, it may be dull, but it's a fabulous community. It's probably my favorite community. It's maybe the greatest house in America. It's been rated and ranked the greatest house in America beyond San Simeon, which is in California, and the Breakers, which is in Newport, Rhode Island. I guess you're seeing it right there. That's called Mar-a-Lago. I've converted that after years of haggling and lots of other problems with the city and the town and everything else. We're converting that into a private club, and it's going tremendously. I mean, the members, as you probably heard, the lists are swelling as to members. Everyone's joining. We're opening it up sometime around the middle of March, and we really look forward to it. I think it's going to be great, and I'd love to have you come down and take a look.
Oh, Mike,
Thanks. Anybody who will bring the celebrities right to my door is, I'm absolutely all in favor of.
Donald won't tell us, Mike. Do you know any of the celebrities reported to have joined?
Oh, the list is long. I mean, I don't know. Elizabeth Taylor is one. It's a long list.
Can you confirm Elizabeth Taylor?
I can confirm Elizabeth Taylor. We have a great list, and one of the things where I really got killed on was Prince Charles, and it was amazing. As I was being beaten up by the press that he wouldn't have joined as an honorary member, that he wouldn't even be an honorary member, about a week later I get this letter from my secretary. She walks in with a letter from Balmoral Castle, Prince Charles, "Dear Donald, it's great to be invited. I look forward to being there," etc., etc. And I said, I wish this really came out like about a week before, because I did get killed on that one, and it happened to be true.
Did I hear Wesley Snipes is a member?
We have Wesley Snipes. We have about, I would say, almost 200 members now, and we have really the creme de la creme. Kenny G just joined. We have just a fabulous group of people.
I hate to go back to the same old tired thing, but I want to give you a chance to get off the hook in a sense. In light of what you know about his admitted acts of domestic violence, would you care to rephrase your feelings about OJ being a nice guy?
Well, no, I can only say OJ as I know OJ. I'm not saying OJ is guilty, innocent, or anything. Okay, what I see is appalling, and what I see certainly doesn't lead to, from my viewpoint, if I were a juror, I don't know, I'd have a real hard time with this one. I can only tell you that from a personal standpoint, as somebody that knows OJ well, I found it really incredibly hard to believe that he could do a violent act like this. He's just a very different guy.
May I ask Marla? Marla?
Hi.
Was he always pleasant to you?
I only met OJ on a couple of occasions in passing, and he was very pleasant on those occasions, but, in life you never know what really happens on the other side of things. Any personal relationship.
As I speak to you, I'm reminded we were at the Roberto Duran-Vinny Pacienza fight in Atlantic City, and we ran into Donald and Marla.
That's a little violent.
That's a little, but at least that's contained. That's where it should be.
Yeah.
And it was amazing how all of the women on the show, my wife, the cousins, the friend, not what Donald is really like. What's Marla Maples really like? Everybody seems so curious, and I told him, she just seems very sweet.
One question, Marla, too. Fresh Prince and his wife just broke up. They announced that yesterday. I don't know if everyone knows that. And I was asked this morning by another news program, Jamie, do you think it's because the pressure of being in the media all the time? And, well, I can't answer that, but I want to know, because you all are in the media all the time, does it ever get to the point where you can go on and just deal with your lives without having to deal with what's coming at you? Because it's hard to work at a marriage in the first place. But when you've got everything coming in on you, you want to talk about the children today, but you can't because you got to talk about what was written up in the paper yesterday or whatever.
Well, it's sort of interesting that you mentioned Fresh Prince, because we were called by one of the top executives at NBC when I was in Los Angeles recently, could I do the show? So I got to know Will, who I think is like this tremendous guy.
Right.
I met his wife. I'm obviously not very good at figuring things out in terms of personal relationship, because I looked at that relationship and said to Marla, isn't that beautiful? Look at that wonderful relationship. And then I just hear what you're saying now, so I'm wrapping
There goes his credentials as a family therapist, right. All right, let me take a break. We'll be right back with an explosive new development. Listen to some of Trump's credits. He obtained the Convention Center site, the new New York Convention, Jacob Javits Convention Center, restored the Grand Central Terminal, Plaza Hotel, still owns it, Trump Towers, one of the great buildings in New York, Grand Hyatt Hotel, Trump Palace Casino, Trump Park, Trump Plaza, Riverside South is now a building. I see the buildings going up outside my window, the Empire State Building he mentioned, the Trump International Hotel and Tower. Where will that one go?
going at the Gulf and Western building, at the former Gulf and Western, which is now occupied by Paramount
The
Pictures.
southwest corner of Central Park.
Right on the corner.
Wow, what a property that is. You've got all kinds of things in Atlantic City, like the Taj Mahal Casino, the Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino, the Castle Casino Resort, then the Gary, Indiana River. Can you lend me $1?
I'll tell you. This is such a great commercial, folks. This is good.
How much are you worth?
Oh, I have no idea.
Come on.
I could tell you that about
$1 billion?
About 5 years ago, I was worth -1 billion. Anybody in this room was worth at least, if you're worth nothing, you were worth $1 billion more than me. Okay?
Wow.
So five years ago, I had a negative net worth of about -$900 million.
Marla, is he stingy? Does he let you buy dresses? What's the story?
He lets me get a good massage every now and then, right, honey?
All right.
Were you ever an abusive husband?
Excuse me?
What?
Donald, were you ever an abusive husband?
What a question.
No, heavy question. I mean, we're talking
Really?
about.
Really?
I thought this
To
was
go
a
from
business
fun
show.
to that, yeah.
No, that's not. It just isn't my thing.
You never lifted a hand.
Never.
I
could
never
do it.
did
I
either.
never could
Dude,
do
I
it.
can't. I don't know. Let's. All right.
We get a little verbal every once in a while, maybe, but I could never do it. Never
What's that?
understood
I
it.
said, God bless every man that does not raise their hand.
All right. Let's go into it.